Hello everyone and welcome to Use Your Spanish. Bienvenidos a Use Your Spanish. In today's episode, we are going to continue with our series of Español en Contexto. This is our 9th episode, and the topic for today's video is Hablando de problemas de salud, talking about health problems. So if this is the first time that you are watching my videos or these kinds of videos, let me remind you how they work. First of all, you are going to listen to a story of a native Spanish speaker called Miguel at a very, very low speed so that you are able to fully understand all the words in his story. In the second part, I am going to explain to you some of the words and some of the expressions that Miguel used in his story, and you will get some examples in which you can use these expressions and words. And finally, in the last section, in the third part of the video, you are going to listen to Miguel's story one more time, but this time at a normal speed, just like a native Spanish speaker would talk to you on the street, for example. So just make sure that you stay until the end, because I am so sure that you are going to learn a lot of Spanish in this video. So if you are ready, let's get started. Now listen carefully to Miguel's story at a low speed.
Por estos días, todo el mundo está alarmado por la pandemia del coronavirus. Y no es para menos. Lo que está sucediendo alrededor del mundo da miedo, porque en muchas ciudades los hospitales ya no dan abasto y el número de infectados sigue creciendo. Al parecer, este nuevo virus afecta principalmente a las personas de la tercera edad y a aquellas que tienen problemas serios de salud, aunque en realidad este es un problema que nos concierne a todos. Según dicen, los síntomas más comunes son fiebre, tos y, en algunos casos, dificultad para respirar. Por todos lados escucho hablar de lo importante que es lavarse las manos constantemente con agua y jabón, toser o estornudar en pañuelos desechables o cubrirse con el codo y evitar tocarse la cara con las manos, especialmente la boca, la nariz y los ojos. Muchos países están tomando medidas fuertes y restrictivas para intentar frenar el contagio. Han prohibido a la gente reunirse en grupo. Han cancelado miles de vuelos. Han aplazado las clases en institutos y universidades. Han cerrado todo tipo de establecimiento comercial, como bares, restaurantes, teatros, cines, etc. Mucha gente se ha llenado de preocupación, a tal punto que han empezado a comprar compulsivamente alimentos y productos de primera necesidad, con el objetivo de tener reservas en casa en caso de que se presente un desabastecimiento. Esto ha causado que muchos supermercados presenten escasez de ciertos productos, como el papel higiénico. Ni hablar de los tapabocas y los geles desinfectantes para las manos, que por estos días, en países como Italia, es imposible encontrarlos en las farmacias o supermercados. Esta situación es verdaderamente difícil y seguramente tardaremos un buen tiempo en volver a la normalidad. En todo caso, mientras la situación mejora, debemos evitar las multitudes e intentar estar en casa el mayor tiempo posible, pues, como dicen por ahí, es mejor prevenir que curar.
Okay, so now that you have listened to Miguel's story, I am going to explain to you the words and expressions that you saw in red color, which in my opinion are very important, and I can use them to give you some other examples. The first expression is por estos días. Por estos días. And in English would be like these days or during these days. Let me give you some examples. Por estos días prefiero quedarme en casa. Por estos días prefiero quedarme en casa. During these days, I prefer to stay at home. Another example. Por estos días no sale el sol. Por estos días no sale el sol. So the translation to this expression would be like, during these days, we don't have a lot of sun. The next word that I want to explain to you is alarmarse, which in English would mean to get alarmed or to get scared, extremely scared. For example, you can use these words to say things like, mi mamá se alarmó cuando escuchó un ruido extraño. Mi mamá se alarmó cuando escuchó un ruido extraño. My mom got scared when she heard a strange noise. Or my mom got alarmed when she heard a strange noise. Another example. No os alarméis, son noticias falsas. No os alarméis, son noticias falsas. Don't get too alarmed or don't get scared. It's fake news. Miguel also uses the expression no dar abasto when he was talking about the hospitals, which, of course, at the moment in many cities, they are collapsing because of the high amount of people that need to go to the hospital. So, he uses the expression no dar abasto. This expression means not to be able to keep up with or not to be able to cope with. So you don't have the capacity to keep up with something or to cope with something. Let me give you just an example. No doy abasto con tanto trabajo. So I cannot cope with all this work or I cannot cope with that much work. Another example. La secretaria no da abasto con tantas llamadas. La secretaria no da abasto con tantas llamadas. So, the secretary cannot keep up with so many phone calls. The secretary cannot cope with so many phone calls. Next expression, dar miedo. Dar miedo. Another word that we use to express this is asustar. These expressions mean to scare. So if something da miedo or something asusta, it means that it scares you. Let me give you some examples. ¿Te da miedo enamorarte? ¿Te da miedo enamorarte? In English, it would be like, are you afraid of falling in love? Are you afraid of falling in love? Another example. Me asusta pensar en la muerte. Me asusta pensar en la muerte. It's like, it scares me to think about death. or it's scary to think about death. Let's continue. Miguel also uses the expression no es para menos, no es para menos. In Spanish, it is also possible to say no es de extrañar, no es de extrañar. And these expressions mean it is no wonder, it is no wonder. So for example, Miguel tiene mucho dinero y no es para menos, pues ha trabajado toda su vida. I repeat, Miguel tiene mucho dinero y no es para menos, pues ha trabajado toda su vida. In English, this would be like, Miguel has a lot of money and it is no wonder because he has worked all his life. But we can also say in Spanish, Miguel tiene mucho dinero y no es de extrañar, pues ha trabajado toda su vida. Okay? So let's continue. Miguel also uses the expression al parecer, which in Spanish we can also say aparentemente, aparentemente. And it means apparently. Some examples. Al parecer, todo es culpa del cambio climático. Al parecer, todo es culpa del cambio climático. Apparently, it's all because of climate change. Apparently, it's all because of climate change. Another example. Aparentemente, él es un experto en este tema. Aparentemente, él es un experto en este tema. Apparently, he is an expert on this topic. Let's continue. The next one is personas de la tercera edad. Miguel says that the virus is mainly affecting personas de la tercera edad. In Spanish, we can also say los ancianos o los mayores. And it means the elderly people. So, for example, las personas de la tercera edad son las más vulnerables. Las personas de la tercera edad son las más vulnerables. The elderly people are the most vulnerable. Or, another example, en los buses hay asientos exclusivos para los mayores. En los buses hay asientos exclusivos para los mayores o para los ancianos. In the bus, there are exclusive seats for the elderly people. Okay, so the next expression, por todos lados, por todos lados. This expression means everywhere, everywhere. Let me give you some examples. En el verano hay mosquitos por todos lados. En el verano hay mosquitos por todos lados. In summer, there are mosquitoes everywhere. Another example. Busqué mis llaves por todos lados y no las encontré. Busqué mis llaves por todos lados y no las encontré. I looked for my keys everywhere and I didn't find them. Let's continue. The verb concernir. It's a little bit difficult to explain, and I am going to try to give you some examples so that you can understand how we use it in Spanish, but it mainly means that something is of interest to someone else, or sometimes, depending on the context, we use it just as in English when you are talking about minding someone's business. But let me give you just some examples so that you can understand better. Mi salario es algo que no te concierne. So my salary is only of my interest. So it's not your business. So you get the idea. We say it in this way. So it's my business. My salary is my business. It's not your business. It's not of interest to you. Another example. Su orientación sexual es algo que solo le concierne a él. Su orientación sexual es algo que solo le concierne a él. His sexual orientation is just his business. It's not your business. But as you can see, we use something called the indirect object pronouns when we are using this verb. So let me give you a conjugation of these verbs so that you get a better understanding of this. We say, me concierne, to me, te concierne, so to you, le concierne, to she or he, nos concierne, to us, os concierne, to you in plural, and les concierne, to they. Okay? And if you want to use the negative form, you just need to put a no before this conjugation. So how would you say it's not her business? It's no le concierne. Or how do you say it's not their business? It's no les concierne. Okay, I hope this is a little bit clear for you. If you have any questions about this, just leave them down below. But before we continue, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it yet, so that you don't miss any of my new videos, of my new lessons, so that you can keep improving your Spanish every week. So please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to activate the notification bell. Additionally, don't forget that you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and you can visit my website www.useyourspanish.com. And now let's continue. Síntomas. Síntomas. Of course, this means symptoms. So Miguel was talking about the most common symptoms that people infected with the virus are showing, at least so far that we know of. So I would like to seize the moment to show you some other very common symptoms so that you start learning this vocabulary just in case you need to visit the doctor. And these symptoms are dolor de cabeza, dolor de cabeza, dolor de garganta, dolor de garganta, dolor de estómago, dolor de estómago, fiebre, fiebre, malestar, malestar, congestión nasal, congestión nasal, secreción nasal continua, secreción nasal continua, estornudos, estornudos, tos, tos, debilidad, debilidad, fatiga, fatiga. So these are some of the most common symptoms when you are sick and that you may need to know in order to describe how you are feeling when you visit the doctor. But anyways, I wanted to let you know that I already made a video, a very useful video, just in case you want to learn what you have to say when you are visiting the doctor and you need to speak in Spanish. So if you are interested, you can just go ahead and click this link to go to that video. Let's continue then. Miguel used the word desechable, and this is a very common word these days, especially because we are seeing that a lot of the equipment or the garments that people have to use in order to protect themselves from the virus are something that is disposable, which is the meaning of this word, desechable, disposable. Some of the common disposable items that we use in our daily life are el plato desechable, el plato desechable, o el vaso desechable, el vaso desechable. And when you have the flu or you are infected by one of these viruses, we are advised to use pañuelos desechables, pañuelos desechables. Okay, so now you know another word. Let's continue. Miguel was also talking about some of the recommendations that many institutions around the world, especially the World Health Organization, are constantly telling us that we have to try to avoid to touch our face, to touch our eyes, our nose, our mouth with our hands. So I wanted to seize the moment again and remind you some of the parts of our body in Spanish. The first thing that Miguel said is that when coughing, if we don't have a disposable tissue, if we don't have pañuelos desechables, we have to cover our face with our elbow, with our codo, con nuestro codo. And we have to try to avoid touching our nariz, ojos, y nuestra boca. So these are mainly the places, the parts of our body that we need to avoid to touch with our hands. Okay? Another parts of our body that I want to remind you, maybe you don't know them, maybe you already know them, but let's practice a little bit. The ear, oreja, the shoulder, hombro, the belly button, el ombligo, el ombligo. The leg, la pierna, la pierna. The arm, el brazo, el brazo. The hand, la mano, la mano. The knee, la rodilla, la rodilla. The foot, el pie, el pie. The heel, el talón, el talón. So if you still don't know this vocabulary, which is very basic and also very important, I made a video a long time ago, actually before I changed the name of my channel into Use Your Spanish, but still it is very useful because it is very graphic and you can see the different parts of the body, and I think it's very useful. So if you want, you can go ahead and click this link and go to that video. Let's continue now. The word frenar, frenar. So in Spanish, it has two different meanings. It would be like to stop something, but it can also be to brake. Debes frenar antes del paso de cebra. Debes frenar antes del paso de cebra. So you have to brake your car, you have to stop your car before reaching the crosswalk or before getting to the crosswalk. Another example, now with the other meaning, to stop. ¿Qué puedo hacer para frenar la fiebre? ¿Qué puedo hacer para frenar la fiebre? What can I do to stop the fever? So you don't say, what can I do to break the fever? You say, what can I do to stop the fever? So in Spanish, we also use the same verb that you use to break, which is frenar. Let's continue. Contagiar. Contagiar means to infect. Let me give you an example. Si no quieres contagiarte, quédate en casa. Si no quieres contagiarte, quédate en casa. If you don't want to get infected, stay at home. Next word, aplazar. Aplazar. Miguel used the word aplazar, but we can also say the word posponer, which is similar to the English word, which is to postpone. So let me give you an example. Lo siento, debo aplazar nuestra cita. O lo siento, debo posponer nuestra cita. Which in English would be like, I am so sorry, I must postpone our appointment. Okay, let's continue. Llenarse de preocupación. Miguel used the expression llenarse de preocupación, which in Spanish we can also say preocuparse, agobiarse, o angustiarse, but we can also use the first structure, llenarse de, which is llenarse de preocupación, llenarse de agobio, o llenarse de angustia. All of these expressions, we have many ways to say it, mean to be worried about something. Let me give you just an example, the same example with all the expressions, so that you get the meaning or that you get the idea of how we use them, okay? Me llené de preocupación al ver el telediario. Me llené de preocupación al ver el telediario. Or you can also say, me preocupé al ver el telediario. Another way to say the same thing would be, me llené de agobio al ver el telediario. Me agobié al ver el telediario. Me agobié al ver el telediario. And finally, you can say, me llené de angustia al ver el telediario. Me llené de angustia al ver el telediario. O me angustié al ver el telediario. These sentences mean I got worried when I saw the news, or I became worried when I saw the news. In Spanish, we can also say noticiero. In Spain, it's more commonly used telediario than noticiero, but people sometimes use the word noticiero, which is most commonly used in Latin America. But both of them are common also in Spain, and hence everyone is going to understand. This is just a little remark. Telediario and noticiero both means the news. Let's continue. Desabastecimiento o escasez. These two words mean shortage. They are used sometimes indistinctly or sometimes they are used in different contexts. but they mainly mean shortage. Let me just give you some examples. Hay desabastecimiento de papel higiénico. Yes, that's what is happening in many countries at this exact moment that I'm making the video. There are many places in which there is a shortage of toilet paper because people are panic shopping toilet paper, which is not good, of course. But yeah, so hay desabastecimiento de papel higiénico means there is a shortage of toilet paper. We can also say it in Spanish, hay escasez de papel higiénico. There's a shortage of toilet paper. Okay, next word. Tapabocas o mascarilla. This means exactly the same. Tapabocas, some people use the word tapabocas, especially in Latin America. And in Spain, people mainly use mascarilla. But those two words mean face mask. So let me give you a little example of how you can use this. Usa el tapabocas si estás enfermo. Or in the case of a woman, you have to say, usa el tapabocas si estás enferma. So use the face mask if you are sick. La multitud, la multitud. This word means the crowd, the crowd. An example, no la vi entre la multitud. I didn't see her in the crowd. Next word. Yeah, oh my goodness. So many words to learn, so many expressions in this video. But that's nice, right? Let's continue. Ni hablar, ni hablar. Miguel uses the expression ni hablar. So this is also a little bit difficult for me to explain in English. I am going to try to explain this as well as I can. It has two meanings. So it can mean, for example, not to mention, as we say it sometimes in English, but it can also mean no way. Like when we say it, we say no way, absolutely not. So let me give you an example with each one of them so you get a better idea. En esta crisis sufren los ricos y ni hablar de los pobres. One more time. En esta crisis sufren los ricos y ni hablar de los pobres. So it means in this crisis, the rich people suffer, not to mention the poor. And then you have the meaning of no way, no way. Ni hablar meaning no way. So let's say that you had booked some flights to go on holidays to Italy, for example, which is at the moment in the middle of this very bad outbreak of the virus, and then someone asks you, ¿Aún piensas irte de vacaciones? So, are you still thinking to go on vacation? Are you still thinking to go on holidays? And then you answer, ni hablar, no quiero contagiarme. So it means, no way, I don't want to get infected. Okay? So those are the two ways or the two meanings of this expression, ni hablar. Then Miguel says, como dicen por ahí, which is also a very common way that anticipates the use of a common saying. So before people cite a common saying, they say, como dicen por ahí, which means as they say. This is also very common in English, so I am sure that you are not going to have problems to understand this. And then the common saying that he uses to finish his story is, es mejor prevenir que curar. Como dicen por ahí, es mejor prevenir que curar, which let's say the equivalent to this expression in English would be better safe than sorry. So at this moment, I prefer to stay at home. Better safe than sorry. Es mejor prevenir que curar. So that's all for the second part of this video. These are all my explanations. I hope that you were able to understand not only the meaning of these words, but also the examples that I provided you with. So now we are going to move on to the third part of the video, which is very, very useful, and is to listen to Miguel's story one more time. Test yourself, close your eyes, and try to follow the dialogue of Miguel, his story, at a normal speed.
Por estos días todo el mundo está alarmado por la pandemia del coronavirus. Y no es para menos, lo que está sucediendo alrededor del mundo da miedo, porque en muchas ciudades los hospitales ya no dan abasto y el número de infectados sigue creciendo. Al parecer, Este nuevo virus afecta principalmente a las personas de la tercera edad y a aquellas que tienen ya problemas serios de salud, aunque en realidad este es un problema que nos concierne a todos. Según dicen, los síntomas más comunes son fiebre, tos y en algunos casos dificultad para respirar. Por todos lados escucho hablar de lo importante que es lavarse las manos constantemente con agua y jabón, toser o estornudar en pañuelos desechables, o cubrirse con el codo y evitar tocarse la cara con las manos, especialmente la boca, la nariz y los ojos. Muchos países están tomando medidas fuertes y restrictivas para intentar frenar el contagio. Han prohibido a la gente reunirse en grupo, han cancelado miles de vuelos, han aplazado las clases en institutos y universidades, han cerrado todo tipo de establecimiento comercial, como bares, restaurantes, teatros, cines, etc. Mucha gente se ha llenado de preocupación a tal punto que han empezado a comprar compulsivamente alimentos y productos de primera necesidad, con el objetivo de tener reservas en casa en caso de que se presente un desabastecimiento. Esto ha causado que muchos supermercados presenten escasez de ciertos productos como el papel higiénico. Ni hablar de los tapabocas y los geles desinfectantes para manos que por estos días en países como Italia es imposible encontrarlos en las farmacias o supermercados. Esta situación es verdaderamente difícil y seguramente tardaremos un buen tiempo en volver a la normalidad. En todo caso, mientras la situación mejora, debemos evitar las multitudes e intentar estar en casa el mayor tiempo posible, pues, como dicen por ahí, es mejor prevenir que curar.
And that's all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for dedicating time to learn Spanish during these difficult times. Thank you for leaving your comments, for giving us a like, or for sharing it with your friends. And please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on my social networks on Facebook and Instagram, and visit my website www.useyourspanish.com. So one more time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Gracias y nos vemos en un próximo video. Hasta pronto.